Yo, what's going on, guys? Jay here, and today I got a very new tier list for y'all. We're gonna be talking about the best albums, or I should say, every album I listened to that came out in 2023. I got over 100 albums here for you guys. And first of all, I apologize if in the face cam you see my laptop a little bit. It might happen, but hey, we're doing the best we could do over here. I hope you guys enjoy regardless, right? And I'm very excited to get into this tier list with y'all. Let me keep it a buck. I guess first of all, right, let me say, if you are a longtime viewer of the channel, you may remember at the end of 2023, I was going to be doing a top 50 albums list. And I did do it. I made the list. I recorded the video. But at that time, that was the video that sent me on like a 4-month hiatus because I just had enough with the editing for it, guys. I mean, I was just like, fuck this shit. It's taking too long. The editing is being annoying because I had a whole thing with like a new mic setup I had. So I had 2 separate audio recordings in there, and I was trying to line up the audio segment, I should say, was actually different, not attached to the video segment. So I kept trying to line it up, and then it was like not out of order, but the video of me talking was behind the actual audio of me talking. It looked dumb as hell, and I was just like, you know what? I'll just do a tier list for this later on. And what is it? 8 months later, here we are, finally doing it. And yeah, let's get into it. Starting off with 222 by Lil TJ. TJ used to be one of my favorite artists. Mid-album. For God 2 by Rob 49. Also a mid-album. Did not really care for this. Oh, also, by the way, the tiers we're working with, I initially had a amazing, great, good, mid, trash, but I feel like that's pretty generic, so I changed amazing to album of the year contenders. We're only going to be talking about albums that I thought were really some of the best to come out last year. And I changed good to memorable projects, right? Because I feel like in terms of how I be rating music, good and memorable are pretty similar, Like, I think of a good album as a album that didn't really push the boundaries of hip-hop too far, the boundaries of the artist's capabilities. It's got tracks that I go back to, and I remember it in a positive way. Therefore, it's memorable. But, yeah, 222 and For God 2 are mid anyways. Then we got 6 by Kenny Mason. Though not as good as his album that came out this year, 9. This was a memorable project. And we got our first album of the year contender, Abolished Uncertainties. This is one a lot of you guys might not know about, to be honest. That's okay. There's no shame in that. Because this is by Jay Skis. He is signed to Conway the Machine's record label, Drumwork. He is an amazing underground rapper from Buffalo, New York. And yeah, this is probably the best Griselda adjacent project to come out in a while. I think this is an incredible album. Jay Skis' storytelling is great. His lyricism is great. And if you're into just some gritty boom bap New York style rap, this is something you should be checking out for sure. The Spider-Verse album by Metro. This had Annihilate, Weezy Carter, I'm about to go Peter Parker, Spider-Man, if you hate on me, you a creepy crawler. Great Lil Wayne bars, but yeah, memorable album. After the Curse by 21 Lil Harold. Signed to 21 Savage's record label, of course, his little homie. Mid as well. Although he did drop a song this year, Sundown with Jid. That song is a banger. What is this? Afterlife? Afterlife could also get the mid. You can't really tell with the mid tier, but I am trying to order the tiers. We might not have a lot of trash albums on here. We'll see. A Gift and a Curse. I have a hot take for this one. I also have a review for this album if you want to see more fuller thoughts. Same for the Spider-Verse album. Same for 6. But this is a mid project in my opinion. Not a fan of any of the tracks on there really. Especially not Fuck You Mean. That's listen, did not really like that album, guys. Not a Gunna fan. If you know me, you know I'm not a Gunna fan. I don't know what else to tell you. The Great Chaos, also an album that I have a review that you could check out. I like this project. My brother, some of my friends are huge Ken Carson fans. I don't get the hype to that degree. You know what I mean? He's not my favorite rapper, not even close. But this album was good. This album was memorable. This album had moments. And it had innovative production as well. So shout out to A Great Chaos. A Love Letter to You 5. I also did a review for this. This is like top of the line mid. This is like one of the best mid albums we'll get. Almost Healed by Lil Durk. This is in the same vein. I thought that this could be a good album going into a Lil Durk. Kind of set up this therapy session concept going into it and with the intro, and then did nothing with it. And it was just another standard mid Lil Durk album. Lil Durk and Gunna they're right next to each other because they're the two mainstream rappers, in my opinion, who really like embody most what it means to be mid. And I'm not like, mid is obviously a pretty rude term, so there's a lot of slander going on here, I guess, but none of these albums I like or find to be particularly good. We got a controversial one, boys. And Then You Pray For Me. And Then You Pray For Me. If any of you guys were watching me at the time this came out, you know I'm a big advocate for Gun. You know I'm a big advocate for this album. And it indeed, by the end of the year, was an album of the year contender. There's no doubt about that. This was a fucking, man, I don't want to say phenomenal, like off rip. We're not even that deep into this video. These albums are done alphabetically. We're still in the A's. But again, there are so many great tracks here. Yeah, you might say it's a little bloated. A lot of people didn't like the trap inclusions. I enjoyed them. I enjoyed all the features. I enjoyed all the different producers and all the different productions here. And I loved what Westside Gunn was going for in terms of combining the mainstream trap that he was enjoying with the underground sound that he created and brought to the bubbling mainstream of hip-hop. I mean, I have 2 whole videos breaking this album down, talking about why it's overhated, and a full-length review. Feel free to go check it if you want to hear me talk a lot about this album and all its songs, but it's still in rotation. This is the first album I could say that is like truly still in my rotation a lot. Bars Mitzvah by BLP Kosher. It's mid. It had Special K though. Oh man, is this Beezy? This is that Doughboy album. This was memorable. This is a couple tracks I go back to. Kardashians with La Tyler and Lil Yachty is a fucking banger. No doubt about that. Doughboy's got underrated tracks, I'm not gonna lie. He signed to Future's label. If you're looking for like a new trap artist to get into, Doughboy might be your man. He's slept on for sure. Is this a beloved Jazz Paradise, McKinley Dixon, I think. This album got a lot of praise from the underground. I only listened to it one time to be... Oh, wait, that was an accident. I only listened to it one time to be fair. It's a great album. I felt like it was a little overhyped from what I heard, but then again, I only listened to it once, so maybe I'm missing something. Let me know if you're someone who is advocating for this album a lot on IG, on hip-hop, Twitter. Let me know if you're still bumping this in 2024. Another album that I'm not bumping that one, but another album that I'm personally bumping in 2024. The 2024 trap, or the 2023 trap album of the year. I could say confidently. Business is Business by Young Thug. This album is criminally slept on and overhated in my opinion. Like, yeah, I get it's I don't know. Actually, I don't get it. There's nothing to understand with me not liking it. With me not understanding you not liking this album. Like, there's bangers front to back here. There's only one real miss with Gucci Grocery Bag. You get some of Young Thug's most personal tracks with some of his best singing, like Jonesboro, on top of bangers like Money on the Dresser and Cars Bring Me Out and Oh You Went and With the Racks. Oh my God, Parade on Cleveland too. I know I'm a big Drake hater these days, and it's the popular thing to do. I'm riding the waves, but Parade on Cleveland. Oh my god, what an intro to this fucking album. Bin Reaper 3 by Babytron. Man, I really don't know if I should have any of these albums in trash yet. I feel like trash I'm being pretty exclusive with, but like, how fun would it be if I just called every album on this list fucking trash? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, well, some of these albums are mid, but I don't think a lot of them are like inherently garbage. Like, in my opinion, to make an inherently garbage album, you have to really try. You have to fucking put a lot of effort into it. Burning Desire by Mike. This album was great. I enjoyed it. I'm not too deep into Mike, and I don't think he's like the best rapper ever. Although he is a great lyricist, I don't listen to him a bunch either, but I can respect that the music he makes is great. We have our first trash, Coke Boys 6 by French Montana. French Montana sucks. Plain and simple. Summer Walker 2. This is like Summer Walker with the Clear 2 EP. This is a memorable project. Did not hate it. I enjoyed it. I should have said, wow, that just made it sound like a... Fuck, man. It's hard. This is a hard life. College Park by Logic. Also memorable. I said I was trying to order this. I'm trying my best. I'm really not thinking too hard about it. I haven't listened to anything off of College Park since it came out. You know what I mean? Like, so many of these albums are just out of rotation, especially, you know, these couple rows over here. This one, I really don't want anything to do with. The Creed 3 soundtrack. For a Dreamville project, this was pretty mid. Like, again, this is some top-of-the-line mid, but nothing I'm coming back to off of here, to be honest. Once Upon a Time by Deontay Hitchcock. I don't know if I should put this good or memorable, because this is the first Deontay Hitchcock album that I listened to, and I've heard like good things about him, and this was an underwhelming album for sure, but it did like have this whole like concept about him falling in love when he was expecting it the least, and it was very cool about, it was a cool story for him and his fiance or his wife or his girlfriend or whatever, and how they came together at an unexpected time and they fell in love. Very good, very relatable story. But I'll give it the memorable. I convinced myself I'll give it the mem. This was Conway the Machine's Drumwork label album. This could also get the memorable. It's a Conway album with a bunch of features from his label signees, so you know what I mean? It's just good rapping. F65 by IDK. I did not like this project that much, to be honest. Nothing I'm coming back to. I thought it was a bit overdone, but yeah. Faith is a Rock. This was a great album. Who was it? Mike Wiki and The Alchemist. This is a Mike album that I prefer, to be honest, just because it's produced by The Alchemist. The production's very good, very solid project. We got another one. Let's talk about another project that I have a review for. By the way, ones I didn't mention that I got reviews for is actually just Business is Business. So if you want more on that, go check it out. And if you want to learn more about what is an amazing album with some of the best lyrics of all of 23, some of the most vivid imagery of all of 2023, Fear and Loathing in Long Island by Jaking the Divine and Javi Darko. Two of the best upcoming rappers in the game right now, have some of the best music to come out of the 2020s decade in this collab album between the two label mates, between the two friends. It's easily either of their best work. I mean, it is just so memorable. They take you on this journey, pulling the curtains behind the perceived glitz and glamour of Long Island, which, shout out to that place that I'm from, but yeah, I really love the concept of this album. I love what they're talking about here, from rapping about the disproportionate equity and equality just in the country as a whole, in the area, but in the country, especially the wealth distribution as well, talking about experiencing racism, talking about anxiety, depression, addiction, talking about the opioid epidemic. I mean, there's a lot to chew on here, as well as so much, again, great vivid imagery, great personality from Jaking the Divine and Javi Darko, almost akin to like O2 Eminem, and not because it's like cancelable, it's because it's just very gory, very violent, and it's enjoyable. It is very great music. This album, it's not in my rotation right now, but it really should be. This is one of my favorites of last year. For All the Dads by Drizzy Drako. I could just throw them in trash and call it a day, but like, this album wasn't that bad. It was mid as fuck, and it was a very like disappointing effort from someone who has as much potential as Drake. But it's not fucking trash. It's just mid as hell. It's boring as hell. It is formulaic as hell. It is just so badly trying to be mainstream as hell. Another album I have a very long review on, probably one of my longest videos ever, is the review for that album. So, another one, just putting it out there. Flying High. This was a little project by The Alchemist. Normally I'm into the Alch and all that, but this was not memorable for me at all. Dave East album, I don't even remember what this was called. This could get the mid slot. Sorry, Dave East. Ganger by VZ. I didn't listen to VZ until 2024, but this album itself, I actually enjoyed a good bit of on first listen. I don't review a lot, but VZ style has potential. This is like very like Flint, like Detroit style from the flows and from the lyrics. You know, very in the same vein as a Babyface Ray, frequent collaborator, of course. But then the soundscape, it's like airy rage. It's not like intense rage, but it's almost like just very synthy, very I don't know. I don't know exactly how I would describe it, but it's different. It's definitely different, and it's rage adjacent, but it doesn't have that same energy. Just the same type of like instrumentation. Generational Curse by Ice Cold Bishop is similar to the McKinley Dixon album, as in I listened to it once and didn't really go back to it, but I know it's hyped a lot online, and for what it is and for what I heard on my one go through, it's definitely a great album, but you're not going to see me praising it like other people do. Another great album, Glaucoma 2. If you didn't listen to this one, you missed out. Again, one of the best trap albums of last year. Super concise. And really brought Key Glock to another level when it comes to like very not basic, but when it comes to like generic trap music, like Gucci Mane type music, no one does it better than Glock. Very solid project, good deluxe as well. Glorious Game by Black Thought and El Michelle's Affair. Should I put this great or should I put this album of the year contender? I'll put this top of great. I kind of want album of the year contender to be a bit more exclusive, although, I mean, this might have been a top 10er from last year. This is the sequel to Cheat Codes, even though it's with a different producer. It is like almost a foil, more a foil than a sequel, from the more positive outlook that Black Thought is rapping to you to, and the more fond way he is looking upon his life experiences and how he became the person he is today, to the extremely lush and tropical atmosphere that El Michelle's Affairs provides. This is a incredibly good album that I recommend you should check out. Go Plus by Sofago could get the mid. I'm going to stop ordering the mid part of the tier list, because we'd be here all day. Grandson by King Von, a posthumous album from him, whatever. Another great trap album, Gumbo by Young Nudy. Really enjoyed that album. Of course, it's all bangers because it's all Nudy songs named after food, which is where he really thrives. Not actually, it's just like the joke is some of his best songs are ones named after foods. But this is another like front to back bangers. Very good, hypnotic trap production. Not a lot of features, which Nudy doesn't normally rock a lot of features, which again works in his feature. You got Key Glock, or in his favor, you got Key Glock here, you got 21 Savage. They do their things on their songs, and other than that, Nudy is providing you that gangsta, hard energy that he always brings to a track to make Gumbo, again, one of the better trap outings of the year. If we want to talk about underwhelming, I'm going to piss some people off with this, but Hall and Nash 2 really didn't do it for me, guys. Again, like I said, I'm not ordering the mid anymore, but for the sake of not getting fucking killed, I'll put this in the top because Hall and Nash 2 was, of course, anticipated for a long time, but I honestly forgot it even dropped until I saw it again on this tier list. Because, yeah, West and Conway really dropped the ball with this one. Conway really oversaturated his own music, to be honest, like to a Boldy James degree, and it's really hard for me to get into like new Conway. This Moneybagg Yo album, I definitely have a review for it. I forget what it's called, but I'm gonna put it in memorable because there's a couple songs I revisit from there. Maybe I should have named the mid underwhelming. I don't know. It's just thoughts. Look how many we still have left. Holy fucking shit. Alright, I'm gonna have to pick up the pace a little bit. How Do You Sleep at Night by Tizo Touchdown. I forget if I reviewed this or not. Trash. I was not a fan of this album. I really did like Tizo up to this point, his feature run, all that. But when it comes to some of the most generic, brain dead, made for children pop music I've ever heard, How Do You Sleep at Night is up there. Now, a lot of you guys are going to click off the video here on this project that I reviewed before. Now, this isn't anything amazing. This barely makes it out the mid category, but it certainly is memorable. Sexy for President, perfect match. The song with Chief Keef, I'm forgetting the name of it, but Sexy Red proves she's not just a one-hit wonder. She's got staying power, and she's also bringing a new sound to the rap game with this project, and I think it's definitely overhated as fuck because she's a popular woman in a male-dominated space. I Rest My Case by NBA Youngboy. I think that's the name of this one. Whichever Youngboy project this is could go in trash. What is this? If Looks Could Kill by Destroy Lonely. Trash. Did not like that album. It was so fucking boring. I'm really like that by DJ Drama. Mid. This Declaim and Madlib project, I forget the name of it. Mid though. The production was obviously great, it's Madlib, but Declaim did nothing for me. Boldy James and Rich Gaines. This was kind of memorable, which isn't great for a Boldy James project, but like it had Boldy over these almost like trap instrumentals doing his thing. I don't know. It was kind of avant-garde. I liked it. Jackman by Jack Harlow. This again is gonna be like the type of fucking placement that gets people pissed off at me. But I'm gonna stand by it because this album has some of Jack Harlow's best songs ever. He really, on some of these songs, is able to get so deep and so personal and really talk about his whiteness and his privilege in the hip-hop space in an actual nuanced and like almost profound sort of way on tracks like Uncommon Ground, on tracks like Denver. There's another track that I'm forgetting the name of that I really like, but where he talks about his relationship with his brother and his father, and it's like kind of in a way talking about like generational trauma and how the way Jack Harlow's grandpa treated his dad affected him, and how his dad treated Jack Harlow affected him, and how that relationship with his dad affected how Jack Harlow treated his brother, and how that affected him and his brother's current relationship. And yeah, and pretty profound writing here. You also got songs that are like dog shit, like Gang Gang Gang. But yeah, Jackman had his moments, and I gotta put it in the great, especially for the production on here. Kate Tramina, memorable. To be honest, I was pretty underwhelmed by this album. Like, it's good, it's cool. The Kate Tronada production is good, but Amine really is in a bad place lyrically here. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. For someone who has lyrical potency, he is really just talking about so many sex bars are like, she gonna ride it like a bike, she gonna ride it like a trike, she gonna ride it like a car, we gonna go really far. Like, that's the type of rap on here at points, but the vibes are good, so gotta put it in the good category, which is, again, the memorable category is essentially good. Diddy's album, bad. despite every, like, even aside from all the stuff that happened that he did, where he, like, I mean, let's not sugarcoat it, where he, like, beat the shit out of Cassie and all the allegations going around about him, despite him being a monster, this album wasn't good at either. Another trash album, Lovesick by Don Toliver. Did not like this one, gang. Very boring, very run-of-the-mill. I was just checking to see if I'm going to move any of these mid-albums down to trash, but no. Lil Pump 2. Yeah, this one wasn't that great either. It wasn't, like, honestly, part of me wants to put it in mid because it wasn't that bad, but, like, I can't. You know what I mean? There's so many things on here that people that are hot takes as is. I'll just leave it in the bad. There's nothing I revisit here, ever would revisit in a million years. But Lil Pump was always a little bit overhated. For what he was doing, his music wasn't that bad. Anyways, brief tangent about Lil Pump aside. Let's start here. Yeah. When we're talking about great albums that came out last year, when we're talking about artistic evolution, when we're talking about honestly just greatness where you wouldn't necessarily expect it, let's start here as the album for that. In this psych indie rock album from Lil Yachty, he really shows his artistic potential. And although he's clearly trying to get away from the corny rap lane that he once was in, he's still not in the best corny rap lane in my opinion. But an album like this showed he can be an album artist, which I never thought I would say about Lil Yachty. This is going to be, this hurts me personally to put Magic 2 in the mid category because, like, it's a Nas album and this was a part of his run, but this album in particular, like, Magic 2 was the real, like, one from the 6 album run that I could have done without. This is the one that I feel like there was no, real quality control on. Even though it was so short, it's just, like, wasn't good. Like, man, it really was so forgettable. So there. It was so there. I have a review for that project. Same with the trequel, I guess, if we're gonna, the third installment in the Magic series. Also have a review for this one, and it is probably a lot more glowing, because what a way to end the Magic trilogy, guys. Man, the outro, 1-800-NAS and Hit, genuinely brought me to tears. You got tracks on here like Speechless Part 2. You got tracks on here like, oh, please let me remember the name. Alright, I'm looking it up. Jodeci Member. Yes! Fucking Jodeci Member. You also got Sitting With My Thoughts. Never Die with Lil Wayne. Oh my god, I love this feeling. Okay, guys, don't get me started. I might have to move Magic 3 up. What an incredible album. Mansion Music. Trash. You could go right next to Lil Pump, Trippie Redd. You did not do it with this one. What a bad Rage attempt. Not a single good song. The beats were like overstimulating and annoying. Trippie Redd sucked. The features sucked. You had that Juice WRLD posthumous Verizon commercial. What was going on with that project, for real? Maps by Billy Woods and Kenny Segal, though. Now, this was the perfect blend of, like, abstract hip-hop, like, super intense lyrics, while also being, like low-key vibrant. And I say low-key not to be, like ad-libbing that on, but I mean it's, like, not, like, a very, colorful soundscape, but it's like a little more dialed back, but it still is this very like accessible, like calm feel. And I really enjoyed the production from Kenny Segal here, as well as the like day-to-day of Billy Woods that he's rapping about. Very solid project, very great, I should say. And as I've said before, album of the year, Spans is amazing. I was gonna add like a classic or perfect section. It would have been classic, but also it's too soon to call anything classic, although there is one album that I think could. But then what am I going to do? I've won, you know what I mean? It was on. What's the point? Just put it at top of album of the year. Anyways, Megatron by fucking Babytron is mid. I don't know why I had it all the way up there. Babytron is not a rapper that I think is particularly good, guys. I'm not going to lie. If you can't tell. Michael by Killer Mike. It was a it won the Grammy. We gotta put it. I was thinking about top of great, but nah, we gotta put this where it belongs with the other album of the year contenders. Another example of a rapper who came up in the 90s, was popular in the early 2000s, but is able to drop one of their best projects in the 2020s. It's a beautiful thing. The features were amazing. The production was amazing. Killer Mike got so personal and so introspective, but also gave you so much like wisdom about how to like age gracefully, not just in rap, but as a father, as a celebrity, as a black man with a platform, which doesn't relate to me personally, but it's important stuff for him to be putting out there, and he does so eloquently for someone who is so in his other music, like his work with Run the Jewels, is so boastful and so, Run the Jewels is like the modern day. This comparison might get people mad, but it's like the modern day Public Enemy. Like, it is straight protest music, especially Run the Jewels 4. It is straight fuck the cops, fuck the system, fuck all of this, fuck the racism. And this was it has a lot of those same themes in this album, but it is so much more personal than that. It is not just straight up dismantle everything. It's a very complete album. This video is starting to get long. We still got a lot of fucking albums. We had this Belly project. This had Cocaine Spoon with Rick Ross, but mid project. Hacksaw or Nacksaw Jim Duggan by Estee Knock, who was signed to Westside Gun. This album was memorable. Nanwar by Toosii, mid. Nobody Really Likes Me by Coach Eyes, mid. Noise Candy 5 by Rome Streets. This could get bumped up to great. I mean, it's Rome Streets. There are some great fucking songs and great lyrics on this whole project. Production is good. It's gritty. It's grimy. It's a Griselda release. You know what I mean? It's Rome Streets doing its thing. This Rod Wave album, I did a review for this. It's pretty bad. Pain Provided Profit. This is a collab album between Conway the Machine and the aforementioned Jay Skis, who is currently at the top of Album of the Year contender. This album is fucking great. It's only 7 tracks, but every song on here hits, and there are a couple I still revisit to this day. Panic by Toby. This is another great album, to be honest. It's got a couple great songs. The two best are Flatline with Kenny Mason and Flowers with Mavi. And yeah, it's a very personal album from Toby. Recommend checking it out. Another great album, which comes from the aforementioned Jaking the Divine. Although this isn't going to quite get Album of the Year contender, this is a great fucking album. I love the production across this project. I love the vivid and potent lyricism you get from Jaking the Divine. He is a lyricist and has vocabulary that very few can match. If you're into bars and you don't know this guy, you gotta tap in. Pink Friday 2 by Nicki. We could throw this mid. The Pink Tape by Lil Uzi. Review for this project. Mid. They did a mid job. I'm not gonna lie, guys. Not anything I'm really revisiting from there. Although it is memorable, I wouldn't really quite call it a good album. Pistols and Pearls by Kodak Black. Also got the Pink aesthetic. I'll put them next to the other two, but it's mid. This Ransom album, that was pretty damn great. It was pretty damn great. I don't revisit it a lot, but it had moments. And there was great lyricism for what it was. We do have a new top of the Album of the Year contender, though. Quaranta by Danny Brown is so fucking good. Got a very good review on this project. I heavily recommend checking the project out, not necessarily the review, but if you want to know why to check the album out, go for it. This is such a good introspective, reflective album where Danny Brown looks at himself inwardly and wonders, and I was able to pose questions like, why has he never been as successful in rap? Is it because he makes zany music? Is it because he had such heavy addiction problems? He reminisces on the fact that he probably will never be, you know what I mean? He probably already peaked in the rap game. He talks about so many political and social issues in his home city of Detroit over these very dark and, for the most part, more calm instrumentals. There's definitely some more experimental ones, but again, I've talked plenty of times on this channel about, and on my podcast, the Talking Hip Hop Show, the importance of rappers being vulnerable and emotional, and how important that is that they do in their albums. It is a huge fucking deal. And when a rapper does that, it typically leads to some of their best music. So shout out to Danny Brown for Quaranta. Bad News by Blue and Real Bad Man. This is a pretty great album. It's Blue. If you know him from Below the Heavens by himself and producer Exile, then you know what you're getting with this project. Just bars, bars, bars. Real Raw by Jaleel. Trash. This is a NBA Youngboy album. Trash. Now, this is the only EP I bought onto this list, and it's because Rip Human Art by EarthGang is one of the most underrated projects to come out last year. It is so fucking good. It's only like 5 tracks, 4 songs long, but it has some of the best and some of my most replayed tracks from last year. Heavily recommend checking it out, especially if you're like a J. Cole fan or a JID fan and you don't know about EarthGang or you haven't listened to their projects. This is a great starting point. They've been putting out a lot of great EPs the last like 18 months. Tap the fuck in. Road to Casablanca by Armani White. Mid. Rocket Power by Quavo. Now, this was a memorable album. It was good. It had its moments. No doubt about that. Quavo definitely leveled up on this project. Round Trip by Static Selecta. This album was fucking great. I'm not going to lie to y'all. The feature cast on here was awesome. And you had solo tracks from people like Joey, but you also had really interesting collabs like Conway the Machine, Ab-Soul, and Bun B coming together on a song. And of course, it's produced by Static Selecta, so you know you're getting very good jazzy boom bap instrumentals. Srem for Life by Ray Shremmer. This was mid. This G Herbo project was mid. Samson by Chica. This is going top of great. I was thinking about putting an album of the year, but no, this is top of great. An incredible album. Again, I'm going to get into the super personal and super vulnerable, and Chica's emotional and talks about her spot at the rap game, questions why she has so much trouble being successful and why she even came back to rap, but then proves to be one of the best rappers in the game right now. Heavily recommend Samson, the album. Scaring the Hoes, I have a hot take for this one. I'm definitely not putting it up here. Although Danny Brown and JPEG Mafia give some incredible rapping performances. You get very good production from JPEG. This album was great. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it or glaze it because it was made for, people like me to like. Like, obviously, if you're someone who's online talking about music a lot, this album was made for you. And it just didn't hit me like that. As much as I enjoy the album, I don't revisit it at all, but I could respect the fact that it is indeed great. Keep in mind the great tier, the album of the year, the memorable, is still being, what's the word I'm looking for? Ordered. Like, I'm putting them into the order of how good they think they are, the best I can, just to keep you guys updated. Scarlet by Doja Cat. This wasn't great, but this was certainly a fucking good album. Very underrated. Doja Cat, another slept-on rapper. She's got bangers and proves she has bars on tracks on this album like Balu and Skull and Bones. Also has great production. Set It Off. I have a review for this album. I have a review for Scarlet as well as last one I think I mentioned was Quaranta. But yeah, initially I had this being a great album, but it really hasn't stuck with me much. The production's still good. Offset still has his moments here, but it's a very bloated. Still a pretty damn good album, though. Just not as good as I thought on release. What is it? 'Cause I Have a Lover. It's something like that. Great album, honestly. Black, 6 Lack makes some of the best R&B music in the game, and I really like his music coming up from a perspective of him being in a relationship. It's very beautiful. Very chill, very relaxing. Bangers. Holy shit, you know what album I fucking forgot on this tier list? Oh my god. Fucking Never Enough by Daniel Caesar. I I just went off of the Wikipedia albums, man. I'm not gonna lie. I forgot about Daniel Caesar. Yeah, right. He's not. Just making a note right now in the video, Daniel Caesar's Never Enough would go right next to Michael, probably in between Michael and Then You Pray For Me. I mean, that was an incredible album. Also, now that I'm thinking about it, Lahai by Sampha is also not here. It would be in that same range. Maybe below Never Enough and below Michael. But it would be an album of the year contender for sure. Alright, back to the tier list of albums we do have, though. Man, I could have went even more, over 100. Anyway, Sex, Money, Drugs by Lucky, mid. Snot or Not by Homicide Gang, this is trash. Sorry for the Wait by B-Love is mid. Sprinter by Central C and Dave, which is actually, I guess, another EP I committed to putting on here. Memorable. I like the tracks on here. It's pretty simple UK production, but Central C and Dave got good chemistry and got funny bars. I think this is Summer's album. This is one of the worst albums I've ever listened to. Summer's Mine by Babyface Ray. Really like this project. Babyface Ray doesn't always put out like the best or like most memorable albums, but oh my god, this got a lot of tracks. You got Donda Bag, you got this track with Westside Gunn, you get the track with Los and Nutty, who I've never heard of before, but both give good features. And yeah, Babyface Ray proves to be a constant in hip-hop. Definitely a project worth checking out. We also got Sundial by No Name. This was a great album. First No Name album I listened to. Had some good tracks, had great lyrics as expected. Surfer Drown by Hit Boy. I feel like this album was underrated. It's Hit Boy rapping and behind the boards producing, so you're getting the best of both worlds. You get a great track on here like Tony Fontana 3 with Currency. You get The Tide with Nas, which is a fucking beautiful track. But yeah, definitely an underrated project from last year. Another album that I think I'm surprisingly bumping up to great, I have a review for this project. Tech by Lil Tecca. I think this is one of the best embodiments we've seen of like the mixture going on in hip hop of like rage and trap and pop music. And the lyrics are obviously dog shit, but the production's good. And this album is just so fun. I really have come to enjoy Tech. It's one of the albums that is in my rotation the most. I take that back, honestly. Just like in terms of like summer vibes, in terms of like when I'm like trying to, when I'm on aux or the function, I'm trying to play some vibes. Then Tech is in there. It's not like I listen to Tech by myself. Let's just draw the line somewhere. But it's very good music. Texas Boy by Mike Dimes. This was a memorable project. Solid effort from the Texas rapper. The Fix Before the Six. I have a review for this. Pretty mid. Oh, not trash, Lil Wayne. Sorry, but pretty mid. The Estate Sale by Tyler, the Creator. I really just put this on here because because so many people put this for Album of the Year, and it was just so like, like, you know what I mean? Like, we get it. You like Tyler, but you don't gotta put his 7-track deluxe as Album of the Year. Like, you sound fucking dorky, bro. I'm sorry. If you're watching this and you're someone who had it up there, like, come on. It really wasn't that good. Like, it was memorable. It had tracks. It had a dog tooth. But yeah, it was not all that. People who put that at Album of the Year, I was like, dog, are you serious? Now, another Album of the Year contender we got to throw up. The Great Escape by Larry June and The Alchemist. The first time I heard this album, I was like, damn, this is literally like this is like the first time I heard this, I was like, so Pinata is like fucking one of the greatest Coke albums of all time, right? Freddie Gibbs and Madlib. I was just like, this is fucking like Pinata, but for weed. Like, I was like, this is the marijuana version of fucking Pinata. But yeah, it grown off me a little bit since the first couple times I heard it, but it also grown back on me from growing off me just because it's such good vibes. Larry June's raps are so nonchalant. He's giving you just good, calm bars. It's so easy to throw this on and just be like, oh, I'm driving my Porsche over to my yacht. And, it doesn't sound like as pretentious as other rappers, because then he's like, All I do is grind and I hustle. And, you know, a lot of people call him like unk rap. And like, yeah, because he's just all about getting to the money. He's like a more mature babyface Ray. He's not rapping about killing anyone or like doing any drugs or anything. You know, maybe he's like, I roll up a spliff when I'm, you know, driving to the studio. When I want to make money, you know, that's where I go. That wasn't a good rhyme, but anyways, we have The Patience. Let's go. We have The Patience by Mick Jenkins. Even though I just forgot the name of this album, it's going right to the top of great. Not the very, very top, but it's pretty damn close. Mick Jenkins, this is like the first project I heard from him. He's on his shit. He's giving you very good bars, good production, which is what I have to say about a lot of these albums, but hey, what do you expect? To See a Sunset, Code of the Friend, Static Selecta. This was a great outing. It was a sequel to their To Kill a Sunrise project from like 2 years ago. Code of the Friend's just a very good rapper. Static the Selecta is a very good producer. This is TW 2044 something by Casey and Gesaffelstein. It's mid. Ugly by Slow Tie. It's pretty great. United Palace by Lord Sco. Also an album I have a review for. Also very good underground rap music. This is that jazzy, New York, sample-based boom bap hip hop, with just great lyrics. Again, Lord Sco is bringing you bars about being on the come up and bringing you like absurd fixes, like his Kurt Vonnegut cardigan on his arm again. I'll just keep it a buck. This is the one that could have been classic. This is the one that could have been it. This is the album of 2023. If you know me, you probably aren't that surprised. I have a couple videos about it. I have a great review on it. I would recommend go checking it out. You know, go see what I had to say then. But like I said in my recent video about it, which was just a little update video being like, hey, Utopia is a year old now. How's it aged? I had it's still the best album from this year. It's pretty much a classic. It has taken over the mainstream. It is still one of the most popular hip-hop albums. So yeah, shout out to Travis Scott. He really did it. And speaking of just recent content I put out, I got my quick vid on that. I got a quick vid on Saturday mornings by Cordae and Lil Wayne talking about Is Cordae Back, essentially. I got my King of the Mischievous South 2 by Denzel Curry review. And I got my The Death of Slim Shady review by Eminem. All my most recent videos other than this one, I feel like go check them out if you're feeling this content, you know. See if you like the reviews, see if you like the quick vids, see if it's worth sticking around for. Vices by Currency and Harry Fraud. This was mid. Vos Dia by Earl Sweatshirt and The Alchemist. This was a great album. Really enjoyed it. Saw some of these songs produced live. Or not produced. I saw some of these songs performed by Earl live. He did a concert at my school. That was pretty cool. At my university. I don't want you guys to think I'm a fucking, 10th grader. Welcome to Kale Grove. This was a memorable project. Oh my god. Why do I have to forget, like, the one song that I really love off of here? The name of it. Wake up. Alright, we are looking it up, because if there's one song I want you guys to take from this album, it's the one that I just hummed, that I literally listen to, like, honestly, all the fucking time, but I, of course, can't remember the name of it. I mean, this album was pretty, it was pretty memorable. It had some good tracks other than this one that I'm thinking of. I have a review on it if you want, again, full thoughts from, when it came out, but it's a solid. Oh my god, long story short. I didn't know this was produced by fucking Manny Fresh, Big Crit, and Juicy J. That's awesome. That's really awesome. Shout out to the three of them. Genuinely one of my favorite sampling usages ever. One of my favorite beats of last year. Last three, Rome Wasn't Built in a Day or something by Rome Streets. This was a pretty great album. Could hang up here with Rome's other album. Won't He Do It by Conway the Machine. You could see I'm struggling to remember so many of these titles. But this was also a pretty great album. Conway's last great album, let's be honest. And we only talked about Real Shit When We're Fucked Up by Boz. I was going to do a review for this, but I scrapped it. And it's because there are some tracks that are like actually good and really lyrical, and like Yao Ming. But then you got just like vacation tracks like Passport Bros with J. Cole, which are like cool, but just not my favorite. But yeah, let's give you one final look at the list. Like I said, La High and Never Enough would probably be an Album of the Year contender. But that's ordered. Great Tier is ordered. So you could essentially get my top 10 albums of the year from here if you wanted to. Memorable is ordered a little bit. Not entirely, but a little bit. Mid and trash are not. But yeah, I'll give you guys one more good clean look. I did make this tier list. If you would like to go do it, it is available on Tier Maker. I could put a link in the description for you guys. But yeah, if you stuck around this long, I appreciate it. Be sure to go check out my 2022 album tier list or any of the new videos or other reviews I just mentioned. Like, subscribe, comment, share, all that shit. I appreciate you checking this out. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know which of my takes you agree with the most, you disagree with the most. What was my worst one? Please tell me. Fucking let me know in the comments, guys. Like, I'm being dead serious. Get down there, be like, you fucking idiot, I can't believe you didn't put Almost Healed by Lil Durk an Album of the Year contender. That really should have been there. You know, let me see some shit like that. I would love to see a couple, A Great Chaos should have been Album of the Year too. Like, where's all my stands at? Come defend your favorite rapper that I disrespected. But anyways, I will catch you guys in the next one. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time. Peace!